Hi guys, welcome to Unit 6, Lesson 5, Use the Pythagorean Theorem. So just as a reminder, the Pythagorean Theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And this refers to right triangles. Okay, so a right triangle has a right angle, that's how you know. And the two sides of the triangle that make up the right angle, those are known as the legs. And within this formula, they are A and B. Okay, so if you take this length and you square it, and you add it to this length and you square it, then it is equal to this length squared, which is C, which is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the side that is opposite the right angle. Okay, so we need to know that because a lot of times with problems like this, it's going to help us to draw a picture. Okay, so number 1, if a right triangle has a leg that is 6 feet and a hypotenuse that is 12 feet long, how long is the other leg? Round to the nearest tenth. All right, so I'm going to draw a picture, okay? So let's see, I know that one is 6. I'm assuming the other one is longer, but maybe I shouldn't do that. But I'm looking for this side here. And I know that this side is 12, okay? There's a couple things to consider. One, if these need to be added together to get this one, then we automatically know that they're going to be shorter than the hypotenuse, okay? So that's something to just think about when you are finding your answer. If you get a number that's bigger than 12, something went wrong, okay? So to do this, I'm just going to fill in that original formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Well, I know one of my legs. I'm saying that I know A. Doesn't have to be A. It could have been B, but that's where I wrote it. So I know A is 6, so I have 6 squared plus b squared equals 12 squared. Well, remember, squaring a number is the same thing as like saying 6 times 6, right? That the base tells us what we're multiplying, the exponent tells me how many of them to multiply together. So I know that this is going to be 6 times 6, then we still have b squared equals 12 times 12. Well, 6 times 6, I can simplify that. That's equal to 36 plus b squared equals, and then 12 times 12 is 144. My goal is to get b by itself so that I know what it's equal to, right? So right now I have a positive 36 over here. To get rid of it, I need a negative 36, or I need to subtract it from both sides. 36 minus 36 is 0, right? So really I don't need to write that there, but just so you know and understand what process I'm taking, we'll write it like this. And then we'll take away 36 from 144, which gives me 108. Okay? So, like I said, I don't necessarily need to write this, right? So really I can scribble those out. I'm left with b squared on the left equals 108. So the opposite, right up here I did the opposite operation. Right here I need to do the opposite operation. So the opposite of squaring a number is square rooting a number. So that's what I need to do now. I'm going to square root both sides of my equation. By doing that over here, I'm canceling those out, and I'm just left with b. And then, let's see here. I'm just getting my calculator up. Then on my scientific calculator, I can do, let's see, I'm finding the square root of 108, and that is equal to 10.392, okay, and a whole bunch of other numbers, right? It's going to go on forever without a pattern. I don't need all of those. It said to round to the nearest tenth. Well, that's the position that the 3 is in, so I need to look to the right of it. It is 5 or more, so therefore I bump my 3 up to a 4, giving me an answer of 10.4. And in this case, let's see, they were feet. So I want to make sure to always put, if I know what my numbers are referring to, that should be in my answer as well. Okay? So, and that's it. It's that same process we're going to be practicing over and over again. Okay? Number 2, find the unknown side length. So I have one leg is equal to 20. One leg is blank. I'm just gonna say that one's A. Doesn't really matter A or B. Okay. And then my hypotenuse is 30. So again, just like the last problem, we've got A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And it's a good idea to write the problem down like I did here to make sure that you put everything in the correct spot. Okay. At least until you're used to using the formula. So in this case, I don't know what A squared is equal to, but I do know that B is equal to 20. So I've got 20 squared, and then C is 30, so 30 squared over on the right. So A squared plus, and then this would be 20 times 20 equals 30 times 30. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. But then I've got 2 zeros on there, so 20 times 20 is 400. So I have A squared plus 400, and then 3 times 3 is 9, but I've got 2 zeros there, so 900. Again, my goal is to get my variable by itself. So I'm going to continue doing that. My next step is going to be to take away 400, right? I'm adding 400, so I need to do the opposite operation, which is subtraction. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So 400 minus 400 is 0. Those cancel out, and I'm just left with A squared on the left. And then 900 minus 400 is 500. Just like the problem before, the opposite of squaring a number is square rooting a number. So I'm going to square root both sides of my equation in order to keep it balanced. These cancel out, and I'm just left with A equals, and then I'll come back to my calculator. Square root of 500 is equal to 22.36, on and on and on. So A is equal to 22.36. And then the thing you need to be conscious of is where it's asking you to round. So like if it had asked me to round to the nearest hundredths place, then I could say 22.36. Or if it asks me to round to the nearest tenth, I could say 22.4, right? Because I would look to the right of it. It's 5 or higher, so then the 3 gets bumped up 1. Okay? So it just depends on what the problem says. I don't have it up on my screen, so unfortunately I can't look right now. Everything got shut down a second ago. But yeah, so anyway, so hopefully that helps though. And then if you know what they are referring to, put that. Are they centimeters? Are they feet? Miles? Whatever the case may be. Okay, number 3. This is from your quick check, and if I remember correctly, I think it's number 1. From your quick check. And the reason why I picked it is because it's a good test-taking strategy problem. All right, we've got a hypotenuse of 15, I've got a leg of 3, and an unknown leg as well. Okay, so these are the answers that you're given on your quick check, and truthfully, only one of them makes sense. We don't really need to do the problem. We're going to. But we wouldn't really need to based on the answers that were given, okay? So if we're looking for this side length, well, one, I already told you that the legs have to be less than the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always the longest side. So, well, it's not always it's always the longest side. Sorry, in my head, all of a sudden I was trying to add them together. But it's longer than both of these side lengths, okay, or the legs. And so based on that knowledge alone, the only answer that makes sense is A, right? 234, holy moly, that's way too big. 216, way too big. 15.3 might be the other logical one, but again, because it's more than 15, it can't be the answer, okay? So that one is wrong as well. For good measure, let's go ahead and check our work though and think, okay, does 14.7 make sense? Well, we can plug this in. We can say, okay, I know I have 3 squared plus b squared, right? Because these are the a and the b. That's equal to 15 squared. Well, 3 squared is equal to 9. And then 15 squared, maybe you know that, maybe you don't. You can use your calculator to solve. 15 times 15 is 225. I did it real quick on my calculator just to make sure I was giving you the right answer. I got to get rid of my 9, so I'm going to subtract that from both sides. So those cancel. I'm just left with b squared on the left, and then 225. My phone is ringing. I don't know if you... There we go. Okay. 225 minus 9 gives me 216. Square root both sides. Get my calculator up. So square root 216. Oh, there it is. There's that 14.7, right? So b is equal to 14.7. Okay? So once again, so we showed it twice, 2 different reasons on why the answer must be 14.7 in this problem. All right, reach out if you need extra support.